All right, folks, you are watching Downshift Pass. My name is Chad, and thank you for checking out another one of my reviews. Now, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. If you are not new here, I'd like to welcome you back. And let's go ahead and hop right into today's review. We're going to be taking a look at this 2017 Tesla Model S 75. All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk Tesla Model S. Now, believe it or not, this body style has been around since 2012. It's now 2021, but you know, over the years, I'll tell you, this car has actually held its own. I think it still looks good. It's a very handsome sedan, executive looking sedan. Just a testament to the styling that Tesla really put behind this vehicle. And speaking of styling, let's go ahead and hop right in and talk about this front end here. Now, for the 2017 model year is when they restyled it. As you can see, this new grille here was new for the model year. The headlights, turn signals, bright lights, everything up front is all LED as well. You do have daytime running lights that are also LED. And overall, I think it looks really sleek, especially when you see it flying up from you from behind. And this car flies. Now, coming along the side here, taking a look at those wheels, these are 19-inch wheels. They're on 245/45 series tires. So with all-wheel drive attached to these wider tires, the traction on this car, no matter what you do, is amazing. And just taking a look at the side profile here, like I said, handsome sedan. I keep going back to like an executive look. It just looks very, especially in this black color, just looks very upscale. Coming along the back of the Model S here, and this is where I think it kind of loses its touch. It's okay back here. It's a little nondescript. Doesn't really speak luxury to me back here, but it's not bad. You have your Model S badging as well as your 75 badging. Now, 75 stands for the kilowatt of the battery on this car. And with a 75 kilowatt battery, you're getting about 260 miles of range in this thing. So definitely not too bad. If you need to cover a lot of ground, you might want to step up to a long range model. But this will definitely give you what you need for the most part. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trunk. Now, the Model S is a hatchback. I know a lot of people actually didn't realize that it's not a regular trunk. And with this hatch, you get about 26.3 cubic feet of space. Now, with the rear seats folded down, Tesla says you get 60 cubic feet of space. Of course, under here, you have a little bit more storage area. And then any of your tiring needs back there as well. And of course, it is power operated with the key or your button here. All right, just taking a look at this front trunk here. Tesla says you get 2.1 cubic feet of space. So it's really not that much, but good for like a weekend duffel bag or just some groceries you want to throw up here really quickly. It's also a good party trick when you're walking up to your car and like, oh, let me throw stuff in the front. People are definitely going to be impressed. You do have your Tesla badging there. Otherwise, this is pretty standard up here. So good amount of space and just a little fun little trick to show people. All right, hopping into the back seat of the Tesla. Pretty standard stuff back here, guys. Nice looking seats. I love the way these seats look. And as you hop back here, you realize that it's also pretty good space. Now, Tesla says this car has 35.3 inches of rear seat legroom. You also get a little bit of space underneath the seat to kind of slide your feet under if you need just a little bit more additional room. You do have some air vents back here, as well as 2 USB Type-C chargers. Of course, your power windows. No heated seats or anything on this particular model, but that's okay because the real party trick back here is going to be this huge moonroof, sunroof, I don't know, a panoramic piece of glass just on top of the roof. And it looks absolutely amazing, especially at nighttime when you're driving. So let's go ahead and hop in the front. All right, guys, now before we hop into Model S, I of course want to show you the key. And this is a really neat looking key. It's pretty much the shape of the Model S. Hard to really tell, but it does have buttons here, and if you press on it twice, it'll unlock the front door. And of course, as you can see, the door handles come out. If you press it again to lock it, the door handles go in, and so do the mirrors. Now if you press up top, that opens the front truck, and down below it opens your tailgate. So pretty neat. You can do it all from the key, especially opening that front part, because you don't really see that too often on cars that don't have an engine up front. Now let's go ahead and step inside. All right guys, so getting into the Tesla Model Y, you are greeted with quite a nice cabin. Of course, everybody knows this huge touch screen that Tesla is known for, and pretty much everything else is super minimalistic. And that's really what this car is all about. Your front seats up here are very comfortable. You do have heated front seats, and starting on the door and going around, of course, you have automatic windows. All 4 windows are auto up and down. You do have your powerful mirrors here. And coming along to the gauge system, this is a full-on digital gauge cluster that shows pretty much everything. When you put the car into gear, you put your foot on the brake, that starts the car. Put the car into gear, you just press down on the gear shift lever here, and the car is in gear. It's just letting me know the front trunk is open, but the car is in gear. Now you do have your steering wheel controls as well. This controls your radio, and this controls the system to talk to the vehicle, to ask it to do a plethora of things. This is going to be your stock for your autopilot. I'm definitely going to go over that with you guys. And coming along to the infotainment system here, folks, this is Tesla's ever famous 17-inch screen that has everything you could ever imagine. And just to kind of go through a little bit of what this screen is, you have your light control, driving, autopilot, vehicle, I mean, you name it, it is all in here. One really neat thing is if you are charging, they give you different games to play. Backgammon, chess, 2048, never understood that game. So many other different options to choose from. As far as just some entertainment goes, let's see here. You have what they call the toy box, which could emissions testing mode, which looks like the car will actually fart on demand. Romance, so it looks like it is a flame that never goes out. Mars, Santa, so the car can look like it's, you know, gliding on snow. Just so many different options to choose from in this 17-inch screen. It is pretty amazing, the technology that Tesla has innovated for this car. Now, the number one question I think we get next to the acceleration about a Tesla is, how do you start the thing? Of course, there's no key to turn. There's not even a button to push to start it. But it's very simple. Once you sit in the car, all you do is put your foot on the brake and pay attention to the digital gauge cluster here. The car comes to life. Simple as that. So simple. And if you want to, when you're ready to put the car in gear, of course, you have your gear shift stalk here. And again, with your foot on the brake, you just put it in whatever gear. I'm going to put it in drive, obviously. And you're ready to drive off. Now, my seatbelt is about to come on, so don't flame me in the comments. But let's go ahead and take this thing out on the road. Now, I did just mention acceleration. This is the 75 kilowatt battery. Produces about 382 horsepower and 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. And let's go. It will absolutely put you back in your seat. And to think there are cars or Model S's with a lot more power than this one is just bananas to me. Now, with electric vehicles, you do have what they call regenerative braking. So essentially what it's doing is anytime that you put your foot on the brake, it's recharging the battery or giving a little bit more energy back toward the battery. Now, a lot of electric cars have what they call one pedal driving, and as confusing as it may sound, it's exactly what it sounds like. So with the gas pedal, you can modulate coming to a complete stop, and absolutely going to 60 in 4.4 seconds. So as I take my foot off the gas, I know you guys can't see it, but as I take my foot off the gas, the car just begins to slow down considerably all the way to a stop. I'm not going to stop here on a public road, but it's a pretty neat thing. And once you really get used to it, all electric cars pretty much do it. Once you get used to it, it's kind of hard to go back to pushing a brake pedal when you just really don't have to. So it's one neat thing that I really love about this car. Now, acceleration aside, this car is a literal tech marvel. Even taking a look at the digital gauge cluster as I'm driving along, it's recognizing everything around it. This car has cameras in the front, back, side to side, cameras everywhere. So it even notices this Kia Sportage here. It notices the 3 lanes across. It's noticing everything. Steering radius is absolutely amazing on this car. For a car of this size especially, you have to remember there is no engine, there's no transmission even to get in the way of the steering rack, so they can really make it extremely tight. Now as I get onto the highway here, this one is a rear-wheel drive model, so you do feel it kind of understeer just a little bit, but let me punch it here. You're gonna have no problems merging onto the highway whatsoever. So again, it being a rear-wheel drive vehicle, it does tend to want to oversteer, and it is a pretty cold day out here in DC. It's 39 degrees, so the tires are not warmed up yet. I haven't been driving it too long, and I don't have a lot of time with it to really get the tires nice and warm. I know a lot of people, myself included, have always wondered about road noise in an electric vehicle. You know, with a regular internal combustion engine, you kind of have that background hum that you might not even notice is there, but you especially notice it when you're driving an electric car that doesn't have anything. But I will tell you, this car is relatively quiet. Not a lot of wind noise, not a lot of road noise. Tire noise is minimum. It definitely gives it more of an upscale feel than I think most people would think, especially myself. I thought it would be rather loud, but it's actually not. Visibility is really good. You have this nice expansive windshield here. The hood slopes down really nicely, so you actually don't see it much when you're driving. You can see really well from the side view mirrors as well. So good visibility, good ride. It's a really nice driving car. Now, of course, this car does have autopilot, and I'm sure everyone wants to see that. So to do it, you do have a stalk down here that's just below the windshield wiper stalk, and to turn it on, if you push it once, it's going to turn on the autopilot cruise control, your standard cruise control. You can gauge how close it gets to cars, pretty standard stuff that you see in cars. If you pull that stalk twice, you'll hear this noise, and that lets you know the car is currently driving itself. So as you can see, the blue lines are showing you the way that the car is actually going to go. It's still sensing cars in the digital gauge. It's still sensing the cars that's coming around us, and it's doing its own thing right now. Now, of course, I am on a straightaway, so you're not able to see a turn and maneuver corners, but I will definitely make sure I get to that so you guys can see. Now, if I put the blinker on, if I want to get over, you just push up, and the car does it all hands-free. Then I will turn it off, and there you go, which is a really nice feature. So ever so often the car will let you know that you need to keep your hands on the steering wheel, so you just give it a nice little tug and it will do that. But let's just sit here and cruise for a second. All right, so we're coming up on a slight curve here. Again, this is all hands-free, and the Model S is doing its own thing, and I'm so impressed by how well it maintains the lane. A lot of the systems that I've used lately, they kind of almost bounce in between a lane. They're not, see, it's telling me to put my hands on the wheel. There we go. They kind of bounce in between a lane. They're not really maintaining a center line, but I'm sure the person behind me, if I'm behind someone, they're looking back, they cannot tell that, you know, I'm not driving the car. Now, speaking of technology that this car has, the digital gauge cluster up there looks like it might be a little bare, but has some pretty neat features, I think, to it. When you need to use the navigation system, let's say here, when you need to use the navigation system, you click navigate. We'll say press an address here, and it pulls up on the left hand side, and then it'll start showing blue to show you exactly where you need to go. I think that's pretty neat. On the right hand side, if you have your phone connected, no recent calls, gives you different options to choose from. You can control your fan speed, display brightness, the temperature in the car. So it has different options to keep yourself from being distracted by such a large screen. You can be distracted by a smaller screen. Now, of course, you know this wouldn't be a downshift pass review if I did not do the audio test. So we're gonna do something a little different today. I'm gonna keep it in autopilot, and we're gonna do an audio test. Let me cue up a song here. All right, guys, so let's enjoy watching the car drive itself as we listen to what this stereo system sounds like. This is the standard stereo in the Model S. So let's give it a go. So it has been driving itself that entire time. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little nervous one of those times. You always want to keep your foot covering the brake. It's coming to a stop. It's slowing down on its own right now. This is some pretty amazing technology. I have my hands on the wheel, but it's still doing its own thing. So all right, let me go ahead and take over. All right, so as I mentioned before, it's the standard stereo that is in the Model S. They do have an upgraded option. Now, this stereo, I think the volume could be a little bit higher. or a little bit louder. It gets loud, but not really loud enough. The bass levels are a little boomy. It's just an okay stereo system. If you have the money to splurge on a Model S, you might as well go ahead and splurge on the upgraded stereo system if that is your thing. Definitely would be mine. All right, coming up to a red light here. When the light turns green, we're going to give it one more acceleration run, see if we can get to that 4.4 seconds to 60. Now, this isn't a performance model or ludicrous model or anything. It's just a stab on the gas as soon as the light turns. And of course, it has instantaneous torque, no transmission, no torque converter to put the power through to diminish any power or even build up any power. It's immediate torque, immediate power, 100% of the time. So it's pretty amazing. That was 60. And I love the noise it makes. It's like a roar, roar, roar. Like it's the same sound, but it sounds like it's layered on top of each other and layered on top of each other. So I guess that's the new exhaust note now. Kind of a stab in my heart, but you know, you got to move with the technology. And speaking of that instantaneous torque, you really realize it obviously from a standstill, but when you're driving, no matter what you do, no matter how fast you're going, when you stab at the gas, it goes. My head probably went back. I don't know what the camera just did there, but it absolutely puts you back in your seat. All right, so we have autopilot on now at a stoplight behind the car, and we're gonna let it do its thing. I want to see how it deals with getting onto an on-ramp. Let's see if it can manage that. Now this autopilot, I don't know if all cars are different, but this one is a little aggressive for me. And there we go. Wow. And I can be an aggressive driver, but hey, seems to be doing all right. Now this corner here is a little steep. I don't know if it's gonna catch it. Wow, amazing. Stayed in the lane. And we'll let it switch its own lane. And with that, let's roll into our final thoughts on the Tesla Model S75. Now, guys, this is a fantastic car. I would have a hard time really picking apart this car. It's fun, it's fast, it has the technology that you would want. You can charge it at home, you can charge it on the road. It pretty much is a perfect daily driver. I see and understand the hype with Tesla each and every time I get the amazing opportunity to drive one. And cut the speed up here. And this one is just no different. It's my first time driving a Model S. It definitely feels a lot more upscale than say a Model 3 or a Model Y. It feels a little bit more worth its price. And it also the Model 3 and the Model Y feels like they're made for younger people, which the demographic for it is definitely going to be a younger generation. This one definitely has more of that, you know, established feel, more along a 5 Series, a BMW 5 Series, or say a Mercedes E-Class, but not as old school. So this is still for a younger demographic as well. Steering is good, brakes are good, visibility is amazing. It's really, again, it's hard for me. I would be nitpicking trying to find something wrong with this car. So if Tesla is in your rearview mirror, or if Tesla is something you absolutely are thinking about, definitely head to the dealership. Be sure to drive one. Even without this being the performance model, or at the time when this came out, it was called the P100D. Even with this being just a 75 model, check this out. I mean, you probably heard stuff in the back sliding around. This car is still going to give you what you need in terms of driving excitement. That could be a safety thing for some people. They want to be able to just move the hell out of the way if they have to. This car is going to be able to do that for you. So definitely check out the Tesla. You get 2 thumbs up for me. Good job on a Model S. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you today. I absolutely appreciate you watching per usual. Please, please, please like and subscribe to the channel. It definitely helps the channel. It helps me be able to get more cooler cars, more content that you want to see. Also, check out my Instagram page, Downshift Pass, where I try to make it an interactive experience. So if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below or leave them on the Instagram page. And at this point, we're just going to ride out to the car driving itself. So again, thank you for watching. I absolutely appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye-bye.